I'm Aaron Sagers, and this is Talking Strange.
Aloha, spooky nerds, and welcome to another Paranormal Pop Culture chat, which is presented by denofgeek.com, and we are on the Den of Geek Twitch channel and hosted by yours truly. I'm Aaron Sagers, a journalist, author, researcher of the weird, paranormal journalist, and currently I can be seen on Paranormal Caught On Camera on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus, and I'm already seeing some people pop into the chat, and I wanted to say hi to everyone. I'm going to get to all of you. Wow, you guys are already populating chat real quickly. I'll get to you all later. But, you know, December. It's December, and as the song says, it's the most wonderful time of the year for scary ghost stories. And my guests today have more than a few of those to tell. For 5 seasons on Kindred Spirits, Amy Bruni and Adam Berry, as well as psychic medium Chip Coffey, have uncovered mysteries behind unexplainable paranormal anomalies across the country. And now they are back for a 6th season to dive headfirst into the underbelly of America's most haunted locations, to solve mysteries, to appease tortured souls, and even confront aggressive entities. Kindred Spirits is premiering its 6th season Saturday, December 18th at 10 p.m. Eastern on Travel Channel, but it's debuting same day on the Discovery Plus streaming platform. And in 10 episodes, they head to Arkansas, New York, Maryland, Vermont, Wisconsin, New Jersey, but they kick things off in Massachusetts with the episode The Undertaker's Secret. Okay, so get your questions ready because we are going to bring them in. The stars and executive producers of Kindred Spirits, Amy Bruni and Adam Berry. Hey, guys.
Hello. Hey.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. Thanks for joining, guys. And wow, okay, so we already have hello from the Netherlands.
Oh, hello. The Ghost Maidens. Whoa.
And also Dunedin, Florida, which I know a little bit about as a Florida man myself. So covering a lot of ground already, Florida and the Netherlands, and Somersworth, New Hampshire.
I mean, oh, it's Miss Deland. She was on Kindred Spirits, her family.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Season 2.
So we're pulling in. All right. I like it. We got some people from the show and Maine and the United Kingdom and Alaska. Wow. Okay. This is great. Got people from all over representing. And we have you guys. How are you guys doing today? How's your beginning of December going? Like I said, most wonderful time of the year.
Good. Festive. Yeah. Feeling very festive. We saw
Very
Santa
good.
last night. He went right by our house. It was really fun, but also really excited. It's like double duty. We're super excited for Christmas, but also excited for the premiere of the show. So it's a big month.
Thank you for doing this. Amy, I like your tree. My tree's on the other side of the screen. You can't see it, but I'll send you a picture.
I decided to put the tree behind me, knowing full well at some point you are going to see my family enter through this area. But I needed you to see my tree.
Yeah, for sure. Mine's over there. I'll have to like post a picture later. But Aaron, thank you for having us. I had a reason to put on pants today. I am wearing pants, even though you can't tell, but I am wearing pants.
He was talking to me in the sauna earlier, and I was like,
I was. Well, you called me on the phone, and I have my earbud. I was like, what's up?
I like that you wore pants, even though we can't really tell that you wore pants. I mean, other than the fact that you just showed us. Yeah.
But I am.
All right. Well, okay. So your tree is somewhere out there, though. Okay. Well, that's good to know. It's over there. All right. Well, guys, yeah, no, I'm happy to do this. Obviously, always happy to see you guys, and I feel like it's been ages since I've seen you.
I see you more than I see my own family.
So. That's right. There have been a few excursions to Disney. Yeah. So 6 seasons in, we have 10 episodes dropping with this 6th season. I guess just to start things off, obviously there's a lot of locations out there that are purported to be haunted, but when you're heading into another season, do you ever think, oh man, we're just not going to find more places that we can really build these stories around? Do you ever have those moments of anxiety of like, can we do this again?
No.
Amy, why don't you start?
No, we know. I mean, I feel like we could go, for another 20 seasons and barely scratch the surface. It's especially since we're helping people. There's always when you're helping people. Obviously, we're making TV, but every time there's a family that needs help or a business that needs help, there's also a story to tell, and there's a lot of those stories out there. We hear them. There's so many we don't even get to visit. So yeah, we could do this for a very long time.
Adam, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna see us one day, in wheelchairs and walkers, like trying to find those ghosts. I mean, I think it's interesting because Dell-Ann, she's watching, and she was a client of ours. Like, we helped her family, and I think that right there is a shining example of why what keeps us motivated and keeps us going, because we love our families that we work with and get to help, and they love us, and they're our biggest defenders and our supporters, and it's become a giant family, and we're going to be doing it. I mean, there's no lack of ghosts. I mean, there will never be a lack of spirits to look for, I would say.
And I would actually say, and disagree with me, I don't think you're going to, but not only will there not be a lack of ghosts, but even the type of activity and phenomena that you're encountering, it's not like it's all fitting the same pattern of lady in white, shadow person, ticking the boxes. The type of activity seems to constantly be a grab bag of a variety of things. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think that just it kind of evolves as we go too. I think it's also just kind of our outlook on it, because our theories and thoughts change constantly on what paranormal activity is and if ghosts even exist. Like, Adam and I will never tell you we know exactly what it is that we're experiencing. And so I think that, because we are going to so many places, we are encountering a lot of very different types of activity, but also we're experimenting so much. I think that with these experiments and these different theories and methodologies, we might actually be kind of encountering things that have always been there, but maybe we weren't talking to them the right way, or we weren't approaching it the right way to experience them.
Yeah. Adam, do you have anything to weigh in on that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Adam, you tell me. I read in a press release, Adam referred to this season as a supernatural Pandora's box, which I like. I like that. How would you say this season overall is different?
Well, I think there's a lot. That's a loaded question. Okay, so Amy and I have been working together for a very long time, and I think every time we investigate together, I think we build upon something that we've always done, and I think that grows. And when that grows, I think our activity and our interactions with the spirits are more intense, and that happens this season. Like Amy said, the experiments that we do give us results that are weird and very odd and very strange, and we still don't know what some of those experiments mean, like it's something that we just cracked the surface. It's as if the spirits sort of find us. We know that we're going to this location to help. We know what their situation is, but we never know what we're getting ourselves into. And this season by far was a big example of that.
Well, and so the premiere episode on December 18th, The Undertaker's Secret, it's you guys travel to East Bridgewater, Massachusetts, and someone asked in the chat if Chip Coffey is still helping. Yes, and in that first episode, he is dialing in remote, but he is still there. Now, this is a building that is said to terrorize anyone that enters. And I kind of want to actually, you know what, instead of me yammering on about it, why don't we just show a little bit of a tease of it, and then we'll come back. You guys give us a little bit more information about it. So here we go. Here is a tease of The Undertaker's Secret, the premiere episode of Kindred Spirits season 6.
There's something kind of darker in here.
I think there could have been a lot of negativity because of Masonic rituals and stuff.
Whoa! Something just yelled very loudly, "Get the f*** out!"
I got a message for you. The dead are in the basement.
I don't know if you know this, but you're deceased. You're no longer a part of the living.
I'll come back. There was a really creepy whisper that just said that, and something's touching me. That's really strange.
There's more to this basement than meets the eye.
East Bridgewater Police reported line.
Right now, they're treating it like a crime scene. The dead want a voice. We just want to help this family.
The living need our help. Have you always been here?
He was watching already.
Okay. That's quite the
I mean, I get
tease.
chills seeing that, and I was there.
Right.
Well, tell us a little bit more. That is creepy. It seems like a lot's going on. So, you're here. I have you on the line. So tell me a little bit more about what we can expect from this episode, but also what is it about this location? What can you tell us about this place in East Bridgewater, Mass? Amy, why don't you start?
Yeah, so it was a Freemasons, what do they call them? Is it a hall?
Temple?
A temple, yeah. So it was their building for over 100 years. And so there were a lot of rituals that were performed upstairs and things. And I think we really get deep into what Freemasons believe and what their rituals are, what we could. And so I think we dispel a lot of myths about that, which is really cool. But I don't know that you meet this sweet woman who runs the place, and she's just acting very matter of fact. Like, she's like, oh, sometimes I get shoved and sometimes things get thrown. And we're like, you're not afraid of this place? But some people were very afraid. She just kind of handled it in a different way. But anyway, that being said, after going through all of these possibilities, it all culminates in a call to the police because we may have found human remains in the basement. So there you have it.
Okay.
There it is. And
I
I
didn't
think
expect you to spoil all of that.
Well, I think that it's important for people to know that
Yeah.
that
you really do find things.
And,
Yeah.
and I will say that I've seen the episode. It is indeed intense. And even if you know that happens, the journey to that point is really compelling, is really interesting. Adam, what were you going to say?
I was going to say it's interesting to hear, this lady talk about this building. She loves this building. This building is part of the community. She loves the history of the building. She knows that it's haunted, but I think the big factor for her is there's one half of the building that was going to be rented out by somebody else. And so she felt she had a good grasp on what was happening there, meaning that they weren't really bothering her per se, but other people were being affected by the activity. And she didn't want somebody to move into that space and then all hell to break loose because of whatever was there. Like maybe they don't like the new tenants or whatever it was. And I think, that was a big fear for her. So in those and along those lines, it's something that we had to figure out because we never want to leave a situation or a space or a location worse off than when we arrived. And it just so happens that there was something there that, Amy talks about, calling the police and how we got there, how we got to that point is mind boggling. It's almost like it needed to happen and we were there to witness it. It's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah, it is a very kind of bizarre journey to that payoff. This building, I guess 1892 is when you mentioned that it was the home to the Freemasons, and they were known for their secret symbols, and as a society they had a lot of secrets, and of course we see call outs to them on money even and on monuments. How does something like in your opinions, these rituals that would have been conducted at a location such as this have contributed or impacted potential paranormal activity?
Well, I think we think about that a lot, just in the sense that anytime someone is doing any sort of ritual, they're putting intention into a space, they're putting energy into a space, and it doesn't matter what their belief system is really. Like, and again, this is all theory on our part, but you know, we feel like if you have a space like that, where over the years, you know, there have been so many people in that upstairs room doing these very intense, very thought out, ancient and very important to them rituals, like that could infuse that space with some sort of energy that could later on act out in some way, either feed existing paranormal activity or become its own paranormal activity, or even inspire former Masons who found that place to be sacred to them to come back from time to time. So it does, you know, there's a lot of possibilities there.
And I just want to call out, this may not be paranormal activity. I think it's just New York City. If you're ever hearing honking or horns outside of my window, or maybe they're ghost buses. I don't know. Ghost horns. Adam, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's one of the big reasons why we brought our friend Sean into the case, is because he is a Mason. So if any of the activity that was happening, I mean, you'll see in the episode, but we don't know that world, right? And we're not going to pretend to know that world. But if perchance those rituals caused spirits to kind of linger around, it was very important to bring someone in that understands the language and the rituals to interact with them, to see if it causes activity. And of course, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but we weren't privy. We could not know what those rituals were. So when you watch the episode, it's very much, you know, the audio's off. We can see what he's doing, but we can't hear what he's saying or what he's, you know, it's a very delicate thing.
What I find really fascinating when I watch you guys work is when I'm potentially talking to a ghost, I'm trying to put myself in the mind of the person that is there. And even when posing questions, when phrasing things, it can get pretty awkward because you want to be clear about what you're trying to say, but you also don't know precisely who you're talking to or what state they are in. And it's mentioned in this clip, and it's also in the episode. Amy, you ask, is there anyone here that is non-living or wants to be heard? And then Adam, you say, you know, you're no longer amongst the living, and when you're addressing them. Talk a little bit about that, because I like that phrasing. Have you thought a lot about how to phrase those questions? But also, does it sometimes get complicated? You can jumble over your words when you're posing these questions because you're like, I don't know what the hell is really there.
Yeah, I mean, so that term, you know, I definitely took that from Dana Newkirk. She said that during an investigation one day. She was like, we're interested in talking to the non-living. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And so I adopted that from her and I've used it ever since. And we try that, but then there's this natural inclination. You start talking, and I don't want to say condescending, but almost like you're talking to like a 3-year-old. It's like your natural instinct. And we have to stop and catch ourselves and be like, this is not how I would talk to an adult in the room. You know, I think we always start out pretty casual and light. But like the reality is that we are talking about very serious things and we're having very serious conversations. And sometimes we have to bring ourselves to that level and bring that tone out and bring that seriousness out. And so, I think we started like getting to know anyone. We're very, like I said, casual and we're nice and introductory, but then we do have to get down to business at some point.
Yeah, the idea of thinking about it in terms of, like either I said interview, but also maybe talking to someone at a party or at a bar when you're trying to get to know them, asking some of those basic questions. Adam, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, not at all. I mean, I think the other side of that is, you know, these spirits, probably most of them have not been addressed in the way that we are addressing them, right? Most of the time, the people that we're helping are frightened. They're terrified. They don't want anything to do with them. They don't reach out to them. They don't talk to them. And so it's clearing up the confusion. It's like, we're not trying to talk about, we don't want to talk to the people that are with us, our camera operator or our, Bree, our sound person hiding in the corner. We don't want to talk to the living, and we want to differentiate that. And I think it does help, because they're like, oh, wait, if they know, they're like, oh, they're talking to me. But then sometimes they don't know that they've passed on. And, we have to address that kind of situation. Yeah.
Well, first off, Adam, follow up. Our Aunt Wanda is here.
Wanda! She's my favorite. I wish I could get her picture. I have her glamour shot over here, just shining. It's always out. I love it.
But secondly, have you thought about, maybe some of these questions shouldn't be posed in the past tense, and maybe it should not be like, do you know you're dead? Instead of like, are you dead? Are you here? Are you continuing on with your life?
Yeah, I think we try it all.
Yeah, the biggest example is the Crocker Tavern, the Ghost Train episode with the Crocker Tavern House. I mean, she just didn't know she was passed on. She just didn't know. She was sort of replaying this moment over and over again. And we showed her death certificate, and she was like, "Oh," that's what she said in an EVP. She's like, "Oh, okay, I get it. I see it." And we don't know why that happens. We just don't know.
Something that I think you guys, obviously the notion of utilizing researchers, we've seen it in some other shows, but I really have noticed how much time you spend with researchers in your show, in Kindred Spirits. And you reach out to these local librarians, these historians, and it kind of blows my mind, because the things that they're busting out, the things that they're showing you, the stuff they have on hand, it's not stuff that you can just find online. I mean, do you ever, and in this episode, you talk to a gentleman who is, bringing out a lot of documents. Is that ever cease to amaze you and make you appreciate these very local historians that are keeping all of these documents and keeping this local history alive?
I mean, local historians and historical societies are a dying breed. Like, it really is. It's something that, unfortunately, and a lot of our younger generation, they're not taking as big of an interest in that. And so you go into a historical society, and it's usually like this really wonderful 80-year-old woman, and she knows everything that happened in the town for the last 200 years, and she can pull out anything specific that you need. And you can't find that online. And it never ceases to amaze me what they remember. And even so, we never go based just on memory, but they can produce documents, they can produce maps, they can produce photos, things to verify what it is that they remember. And sometimes artifacts we can take back to the investigation and use to trigger or to show these spirits that we know who they are, who they could be. And so it's hugely impactful. It's super important. And I think we constantly try to spread the good word of, support your local historical society. The one right up the street from me is open 2 hours a week, and it hasn't been open since COVID, actually. So they need us. And so if anything, I think they love paranormal investigators for that reason alone, especially investigators who are trying to get their history right, which is huge.
Right.
Yeah. And pushing past, the lores and legends are very important as well, but parsing that from the actual history. Adam, you mentioned, I think this came from the press release, you do mention there's some new experiments that you try this season. Is there anything that you can tease out? Wow, that is that is a serious grin, like as if but you're not going to say.
We killed
I die. Maybe, possibly die. We don't know really know what it was. I think I'm alive, I guess, unless this is just a really great EVP session. I think Amy and I always have to think outside the box, and it's not because we were just like doing it for I was gonna say S and giggles, but I don't know if I could say the word S. On,
I'm not gonna stop you. It's Twitch. You're loud. S
and giggles. We're not doing it just
I don't know if Aunt Wanda would approve, but
Wanda, she would. She'd love it. Roll Tide. I don't think I just don't. I mean, we're not just doing it to do it, right? And so these
Right.
experiments come out of a need. They come out of some sort of need to get interaction or to dig deeper into what we are doing. There is an episode where Greg Newkirk joins us, and if those that know Greg and Dana Newkirk, they love to think outside of the box just as much as we do. And Greg had this idea for something that would connect us deeper to those that we're trying to talk to, and it was in a case in New Jersey, and I forget what the name of the mansion's called.
Liberty Hall is the
Liberty
second
Hall.
I reminded you.
Why can't I remember the Liberty Hall? Anyway, maybe I did die. But I mean, we used it to connect deeper, and it's unique, it's different, and we're all about throwing spaghetti against a wall and seeing what sticks, because you never know what's going to work. And so if it doesn't work, great. But we're not going to be afraid to try it, because let's be honest, we're sitting in the dark talking to ghosts, okay? And then a lot of people think that's crazy. So why not go full throttle? Let's just throw everything out and see what happens.
Amy, you in the little snippet we saw, you mentioned you hear this creepy voice through the speakers, through your headphones, but then you also say that you were just touched. When you're touched by something that you can't see, it is unsettling, and yet you don't want to leap to the conclusion that it's something trying to be malevolent. Maybe it's just misunderstood. Maybe we're just not processing it in the way that it's intended. So what is, for you, what's the personal sort of judgment call, the metric for you to know, okay, this is legitimately concerning versus maybe it's just misunderstood?
Yeah, it's hard because, we're always trying to kind of figure out what the motivation is when something like that happens. Sometimes we'll come into a case where someone will say, I got shoved, and your instinct is to say, well, that's something mean, that's negative. But then as you start to kind of talk more, investigate more, it seems like this is maybe a spirit or entity that has been trying to reach out for quite a while. And maybe they noticed that got that person's attention finally, And so, but as an investigator, it's honestly shocking how often you get touched or kind of like nudged or, and it's always disconcerting when you're in that position, when you're doing like the Estes method, the spirit box experiment, where you're like blindfolded and have headphones on, you can't see anything around you. And that's when something decides to like touch you, it's odd. But for the most part, we can tell. Like there was a case we did a couple years ago in Florida, where this thing kept pinching me the whole time I was there, leaving marks, pinching. That to me is not like, hey, I'm trying to get your attention. It just kept going on when we even were like, hey, please stop. And then Adam tried to fight it. And
meet me at the flagpole.
I think you can tell there's an instinct there where you're like, okay, this is the motivation here is not necessarily like, please pay attention to me. This is something really trying to get at me. So, but yeah, it's your human instinct. I think you can feel it.
And I just want to call out, since both of you have mentioned Greg and Dana Newkirk, they are the minds, the investigators, researchers behind the show Hellier, which is quite an enjoyable paranormal watch. And you can see them right now on The World According to Jeff Goldblum, the monster hunting Bigfoot episode. So just shouting out some of our other friends here. So some of the other episodes, you go to this home in New York. There is a discovery of an old shoe, which may have triggered the haunting, which is it's funny to say, but it's actually really interesting that the shoe is so important. There's supposedly this eyeless entity that in another episode, and in another episode, it's called Tripwire, a ghastly traveler with eternal ties, and of another spirit that has that is a much darker personality. So I've given you 3 other things that have been teased about this season. I want you to speak to some of these, and are these your run-of-the-mill ghosts? Are they what can we hope to see from these episodes?
Well, just right off the bat, the ghost with no eyes, don't want to see that. just don't want to see that. That's terrifying. But B, that episode actually has a really crazy experiment because this entity, this was at actually my brother's friend. It's his property, and he didn't understand what was happening. It's a big plantation home, and they call it the lurker. And this thing or this person was standing at the foot of a bed, staring at these people with no eyes in the middle of the night, and they've seen him around the property. And so we had to try an experiment, which basically meant let's make Amy a very vulnerable. Let's just put Amy in a vulnerable position and see what happens. But the results of that made us do a crazy experiment where we basically put a ghost in timeout, and I'm not going to tell you how it happens, but it was, if you ever want to know how to put a ghost in timeout, I guess watch this episode because we figured it out.
So weird. The other the shoe that you mentioned, I suspect that may be in people's top 3 Kindred Spirits episodes. It is one of the most powerful, compelling episodes we've ever done. Like, it's going to be up there with Ghost Train almost. Like, it is, because Ghost Train's always the one where everyone's like, Ghost Train, that was like, this one is really up there. Like, I've rewatched it already like 3 or 4 times because, I mean, obviously in the but like the final edit, because it is really good. So it just, the activity, the outcome, it makes you question everything.
And all 3 of those episodes that you mentioned are family cases.
Okay.
They're all family cases. And people love our family cases, but there have been more and more people that reach out to us more and more frequently, because they watch the show or they know what we're doing, and so these family cases are very intense. But I bet you there's a lot of people watching now that might have a shoe, an old shoe, just like hiding somewhere in their attic or in their walls they don't know about.
Wait until they learn what those shoes can do. It is crazy.
I'm gonna watch that episode right now. Goodbye, guys. I'm gonna go watch it now.
Yeah.
I'll just share my screen. I'll share my screen and we'll just watch it together.
Well, also, hey, people from Austin, Texas, Winter Garden, Florida. Hello, Winter Garden, Florida. And people from all over still coming in. NYC is here. Hello. Alfonso. Hello, Alfonso.
Hey, Alfonso.
I have some good pictures of Alfonso from Strange Escapes. I got the photos back.
Oh, nice. All right.
That crazy mask. Sorry.
Yeah. I posted one on my Instagram. If people go look, Alfonso looked great. That like silver
glitter disco
diamond.
ball.
Yeah.
Did you? Here's a good question. Would you ever consider investigating properties in the United Kingdom?
Absolutely. As soon as I think we can now. I think we're getting there for sure.
Yeah. There's a question. I keep trying to find it, and I've lost it. But if I do find it, I will give a shout out to this person. But they asked about how, obviously you've been working in this field for a while. Here we are. How did you find your individual voices in developing Kindred Spirits? I think I like that question because I think it's so open to interpretation. Adam, why don't you start on that one?
Oh, is that a ghost?
It's Mr. X. He's being ridiculous right now.
I forgot the question because I thought it was a ghost. No. How do we develop our individual styles? Is that what the question was?
Voices, styles. I think.
Oh, I mean, I have us classically trained. I think.
We just never back down.
Yeah.
Honestly. I think we learned and we realized that in order to keep doing what we wanted to do, we would have to do so while maintaining our integrity. And that in order to do that, we have to speak up and we have to defend ourselves and we have to do things right. And so when you have that confidence, when you're like, I think that Adam and I agreed early on, like it would be better to lose everything, but maintain our integrity than to sell out and, keep doing, but I think that we're really lucky in the sense that we've never even had to come close to like selling out.
Right.
We've got a wonderful team behind us with our production company and travel and discovery. And,
he's doing it on purpose. He's doing it on purpose.
Trust me, if there's one person who does not want to be seen, but that was the trade-off. I wanted you to see my tree. So, but what I mean is that we were very fortunate, and I just would encourage people to always find their voice and don't be afraid to speak up, and don't ever let anyone talk you into doing anything that you think is wrong or makes you uncomfortable for the sake of, TV or something. So,
yeah.
Well,
and in terms of, I was going to say, in terms of our individual voice and developing a voice together over the past 11 years that we've worked together, we started with the same sensibilities. And I think we both believed in the same things, and we wanted to discover the same things, and it just worked. It was like one of those things where we bounce off each other very well. We each do different things. And I think our energy and our voice has grown from that, and it helps us communicate with those that really need assistance, living and dead, because there's two sides of it,
Well, the other element of individual voices is not just you as partners, but you as individuals. So my question there is, how do you disagree? How do you disagree with one another? What does that look like?
I don't get up. I don't get up early. So that's a disagreement. I will not start before noon. Do not speak to me. That's a disagreement.
I mean, we've not had any like knockdown, drag out kind of disagreements. We've definitely had little like bickering moments here and there,
Right.
but like it's very sibling like, and I think it just comes with the territory of being together for, multiple days, weeks, months at a time, but also just kind of, we're both very passionate about what we do. And so, but it's really not that common, but I'm sure there's been some moments where the crew is like, mommy and daddy are fighting.
Exactly. But I think that comes out of, maybe there is, we sometimes like to explore different things on a case. And so I think, wait, is Alexa talking? What's happening? Oh, she did talk. Oh, well, a ghost. I think, we like to explore different things on a case, and we have to remember that each of us, while we are working together, we do have different ideas. And even if we're like, oh, that idea, we have to do it. And there have been times where she and I are like, we're on a different page, so to speak, but then we needed to explore those options to get on the same page. And so those things happen for sure.
Yeah, it's not
common.
No, it's definitely not common.
This is a question that comes up a lot, but it's always a fun one, so I'll throw it out there. What are your bucket list sites for haunts?
Ooh,
we have three.
We always say, right? We say Disney World, of course.
Right. We say
Graceland,
and White House.
The White House are our three. I think that we both really want to do. I really want to do the catacombs in Paris too, which we're going to the catacombs this summer, but I don't know if they're going to let us investigate them. But
I'm going to bring a recorder.
I got some alone time in there through like a definitely greasing the right palms, trading in the right favors, and it is a great location. So I think you guys are going to have a good one in there. This is a softball from someone we recognize, but I'm going to throw it in there. Jessica asked, what other special guests are on this season?
Well, Jessica. Let's see. We have Greg Newkirk, John Tenney. We brought in Sarah Coombs, who I don't think anyone has ever seen on a paranormal show before. We were investigating an asylum. And of all of the asylums we've ever investigated, I don't know why we never thought to actually bring in like someone with a psychological background. And so our friend Sarah is a psychotherapist. And so we brought her in to kind of guide us on the investigation and tell us how we should be approaching the spirits there. So that's exciting.
We also brought in a client that we helped to help us on a case. So someone on a previous season, we asked her to come in and assist us because she was nearby, and we knew that she knew some stuff that we didn't. So that's cool.
Yeah, we're not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the one thing. Like, we are not going to pretend like, yes, we know a lot, but we do not know everything, and we are not experts in everything. So when we can bring in an expert that is an expert in that to help us figure it out, we're not ashamed, because that's how you get results.
And our own people at Den of Geek are saying you should go to Graceland.
Sure. Someone knows someone who can make this happen.
Come on.
Lisa Marie.
Anyone.
Except Elvis isn't dead. He just went home.
We don't know. We could find out. Yeah. We could find the ghost of Elvis.
I don't know. I'm
the
going
ghost
with aliens.
of Elvis.
You don't sound like Elvis.
No, wait. What's that song? Walking in Memphis.
If you sing one more bar, we're gonna have to spend a lot of money on licensing. So
I'm not gonna sing anything else. Sorry, no.
We've made that mistake.
This is kind of a nice comment. Just the the Louvre Museum. People are throwing out a lot of options for you guys. A French bakery, a winery. I think a vineyard would be great.
We investigate a vineyard all the time.
Yes, yes. And you'll be going back to Belvoir with the Strange Escapes event company next summer, right?
Yeah, June.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, that's a good point to bring up some of the other things you guys work on. So Amy runs the Strange Escape, a paranormal tourism company. You guys are busy with a lot of other things. It's not just you two in the dark all the time. Talk a little bit about the other things you work on. Adam, why don't you begin? I know you've been busy with putting a lot of stuff out there.
Amy and I, we have a magazine called Ghost Hunting. It's very simple. Ghost Hunting, there's 3 issues. You can get them on Amazon, all 3 of them. Just search Ghost Hunting Magazine and it'll pop up. We're hoping that there is another issue in the works. So where did she disappear?
I don't know. She ghosted us.
I know. It is. That's the newest issue. That's the newest issue.
I'm gonna throw a softball at you, Adam. Okay.
Oh,
what else are you working
look
on,
at that. I have a tiny shop where I put ghosts on things, and you can buy them. And it's adamberryapparel.com. That is one of my embroidered hats. Everything is ready to go, ready to ship for Christmas. So that is something that we work on. We always have irons in the fire. I was gonna say fires in the iron, but that makes no sense.
Fires in the iron.
That makes no sense.
And Amy, what are the other ways that people can support you? Other projects that you've got going on?
Well, we did mention Strange Escapes, which is it's a haunted travel company. We plan crazy paranormal adventures all over the world now. We're doing a big cruise this summer and a lot of other events coming up for 2022. And usually you or Adam are at them as well, which is really fun. And then I have a podcast called Haunted Road, which season 2 premieres January 5th. And actually tomorrow, the live episode that we recorded at Mount Washington drops tomorrow. So
yay.
This is the bonus episode.
Yeah, it's a bonus episode. And you were my guest because we were talking about Eastern State Penitentiary. So the tables are turned. I interview Aaron Sagers. And and it's actually really cool. The first half is all about the history of Eastern State that I had no idea about. And so subscribe to Haunted Road and get ready for that podcast to drop tomorrow and season 2 coming soon.
And you can pick up her book, Life with the Afterlife. That's available out there right now. Great Christmas gift. And we will all be in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Para-Unity event. And a bunch of people in the chat are saying they're going to be there. So you guys come up and say hi to everyone. Before I let you go, I guess the final questions. Let me see if anybody else is putting any other questions. Well, this is just a nice one. Haunted Road is the bee's knees.
The bee's knees.
Haunted
Haunted Road's the bee's knees.
So much fun to do. So I love that people love it.
And Adam's I put ghosts on stuff. So
You're a scream.
Hey,
You're
I put
a
ghosts on
scream.
things. Hey.
The cat's
yeah,
pajamas. But before I let you guys go, okay, like I said, I opened with talking about Christmas and the holidays. So do you have anything that is sort of a fun, spooky activity where you combine the paranormal with the holidays? During Christmas season, anything that you do that combines both of these worlds?
That's a good question.
Well, I do enjoy a good Krampus card.
Mhm.
Yes.
Krampus is a thing. If that movie Krampus, I actually really like it. I know
It's
stupid.
good.
It's a great movie.
I think
Fun
it's
movie,
really
yeah.
good. Toni
Mhm.
Collette. I like doing stuff like I like that kind of movie. There's a new one that's on called Elf or Elves from the Netherlands. That looks
Oh yeah,
creepy.
that's. Did
Right.
you watch The Boy Called Christmas? It's
Not yet, but
it's
it's on the
so
list.
good. It's very
Did-
much
well-
magical and.
I mean, I feel like we need to get back to the paranormal and Christmas connection. I mean, we do have a couple great ones out there. Krampus, Gremlins. That's a holiday.
Yes.
That's a Christmas
which Charlotte
movie.
has fallen in love with. She just ordered some vans with gremlins on them. So
Good to know. Hopefully she will not feed her gremlins or her mogwais after midnight.
she totally would.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, and also like, people are in that if we deal with a lot of intention and stuff, and people are in that mindset of like remembering family who have passed on and putting that sort of energy out. And I think maybe they show up, maybe they're a bit more active and around during the holidays because they know that you're thinking about them. And
I think so. I think there's
Me
something
too.
to that. I mean, we all get super nostalgic and I think we all think about people we love to have passed on at Christmas. And I think that brings them back in some way. That's my child. There she goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just when you're talking about sort of the origins of the holidays, connected to Norse mythology and pagan rituals, it's like, there's a lot of interesting spirits. But I will say one of my favorite elements of Christmas and the paranormal, someone mentioned Adam's Haunted Mansion journal on the bookcase. Well, gotta, Disneyland's the Nightmare Before Christmas skin.
I just had a panic attack. I was like, what else is back there? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everything's fine. I think it's all
we
fine.
would let you know. And yes, John Tenney, who is in the room, says what it is.
John Tenney.
Yeah, John Tenney clearly came in late because he didn't hear me quote that at the very top of the show. But I will say,
ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago.
And then now we got
whoever. No, you won't.
Andy White or
licensing.
No, that's my version. I sang the wrong notes. But John loves to bring that up. He does love to
I
bring
will
that up.
say,
hey,
speaking
Jimmy.
of Mr. John Tenney, next week, I mean, you guys can come back for it, but next week, we're going to be talking to John Tenney about Spider-Man and the multiverse of weirdness. So I'm going to plug that again at the end. But
I was
before
in a car for 3 hours with you guys, and so I know the conversation that is going to happen.
Oh yeah,
people are going to have their minds blown.
It'll be
I was just like, I don't know, can't keep up.
Yep. Nope.
Well, if 10 episodes of Kindred Spirits, it's starting December 18th, 10 p.m. on Travel Channel and same day premiere on Discovery, plus 10 episodes. And if that's not enough, how can people reach out to you on social media and say hi? We already said they can go to your shop, they can pick up the book. But if they want to say hi on social media, where can they do that?
I think I'm at Amy Bruni on just about everything. So they can just find me that way.
Yeah, I'm Adam Berry on Instagram, and then Adam J. Berry on Twitter because it wasn't available. And then I am the Adam Berry on TikTok. Apparently there's a lot of Adam Berries, but I am the Adam Berry.
I've been really trying to TikTok more lately. So please.
I like the tickety talk.
The tickety talk. Which all the kids say. None of the kids say that. But
the TikTok.
All right. The tickety talk. You guys hang out backstage for a minute. I'm going to let you go, but I really appreciate you guys coming and talking about the new season. And so hang out backstage for a minute. And everybody that's out in the audience, don't you go anywhere, because I'm actually going to show this clip again, the cold open from Kindred Spirits, the first episode of season 6. So thank you guys for joining, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute.
All right. There's something kind of darker in here.
I think there could have been a lot of negativity because of Masonic rituals and stuff.
Whoa! Something just yelled very loudly, get the f*** out!
I got a message for you. The dead are in the basement.
I don't know if you know this, but you're deceased. You're no longer a part of the living.
I'll come back. There's a really creepy whisperer that just said that, and something's touching me. That's really strange.
There's more to this basement than meets the eye.
East Bridgewater Police reported line.
Right now, they're treating it like a crime scene. The dead want a voice. We just want to help this family.
The living need our help. Have you always been here?
He was watching already.
And thank you again, guys, for joining us for this talk with Amy Bruni and Adam Berry of Kindred Spirits. Again, season 6 of Kindred Spirits premieres December 18th, 10 p.m. Travel Channel, same day on Discovery Plus. And thanks to Den of Geek for supporting this and presenting these paranormal chats. And you guys can give me a shout, patreon.com/Aaron Sagers, at Aaron Sagers on social media, Twitter, Instagram. And check out Paranormal Caught On Camera on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus. And hey, you should come back here next week, December 14th at 4 p.m. for Spider-Man and John Tenney's Multiverse of Weirdness. Because in Spider-Man No Way Home, which premieres next week, the Marvel Cinematic Universe heads down the multiversal rabbit hole. But this universe's Mr. Strange, paranormal researcher John E.L. Tenney, is going to join me for a weird talk about real multiversal and parallel dimension theories. That's December 14th, 4 p.m. next week. So we will see you guys then. And wherever you are, keep it weird and stay spooky.